Good morning. Welcome back to News Radio. It's Atty Radio and I am your co-host on this journey as we go straight up the middle. And as always, Straight Up the Middle is a show focused on our national perspective, focusing on politics and economics and a bunch of things that impact our society at large. And I know for some of you, I've been out for a couple of weeks. Glad to be back though this week, and we can get all caught up. Now, usually when I'm out for a period of time and I come back, I go into therapy mode. I need some therapeutic engagement, and I depend on you all to do that for me because so much is happening. I mean, if I ran off the list of things that are happening in our society right now, would just be I would just be going over topics and not actually getting into any conversation. So hopefully we can do that today. I do have a guest coming on the show this morning, a young man who has dipped his toe into the perspective of government issues by the name of Quincy Collins Jr. He also is a avid golfer, but he's going to come on a little bit later on to talk a little bit about how he's seeing things from a young person's perspective and add some insight for us more seasoned folks to consider. We are in a time where we really should be thinking about what are we building, what are we leaving for others. The things that we enjoy right now in America, the wonderful, beautiful things that we take advantage of and we celebrate, and even those things that we don't like. They were the result of the actions and efforts of those that came before us many, many years ago. So with that in mind, we're going to have young Quincy come on and chit-chat with us a little bit about some stuff. But before he does, I was riding in my car and I was thinking about something that happened this week. And I wonder, why this is just this week, there was an incredible moment of bipartisanship actions in Congress. In the House of Representatives, Marjorie Taylor Greene brought up a motion to vacate and remove Speaker Johnson. And Democrats joined with Republicans to kind of put that aside. That is not because they like Johnson, they think Johnson is great, and any other things about Johnson and or the Republicans. The Democrats did that for America. They appreciated the instability created when the speakership was vacated before. Now, what would have happened if they allowed Johnson to be removed from his speakership would have been a process to put in another Republican speaker. Whether that speaker is better or worse, in the end, it would have been another Republican speaker. Another Republican speaker who would have to decide, am I going to be beholden to the most extreme voices in our party, or am I going to go about this in a different way? Now, if you did not follow the most extreme voices, as did the previous speaker, Speaker McCarty, now we have Speaker Johnson, chances are you run the risk of being removed, which would just leave us in this cycle of chaos and instability in one of the most profound offices of our country. I don't know if you all appreciate this. The Speaker of the House is second in line to succeed the president. You have the president, the first in line is the vice president, and the second in line is the speaker. Think about that. And we have this level of instability circulating around that office. So Democrats, in a concern for the country, because their self-interest is let the Republicans implode on themselves, let them cannibalize their own membership, let them bring each other down. That's what's best for Democrats. But what's best for the country is some stability. And I was very proud of the Democrats who stood up and said, "We're not going along with this. Uh, we're not going along with this approach to destabilizing our country." All right, we got a caller calling in this morning. Good morning, caller. What's your name and where you're calling from?
This is Quincy Collins.
Quincy Collins. Good morning, Mr. Collins. How are you today?
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good, good. Listen, I've been waiting for this phone call. I knew that you were going to be my guest this morning, and I just want to welcome you to In Touch News. I apologize for having to get you up so early in the morning on a Saturday to get up here and talk. But I understand you're a golfer, so you know what it's like to get up on an early Saturday morning because you may have to get out in the links, right?
Absolutely.
Well, good, good.
That's
I
right.
appreciate it. So tell me. So my understanding is you're a 10th grader in high school. Is that correct?
I'm actually a ninth grader.
Ninth grader. Okay, so you're freshman. So wow. So you done with your school year yet? Or you're still in school?
I will be completing it in a few more weeks. I still have to take final exams and
Got
whatnot.
it. Out. So got your final exams coming up. So let me ask you this: if you were to be talking to an eighth grader right now about coming to high school, what would you tell that student?
Well, you have to get used to the social environment first. You're not gonna make friends with everybody immediately, and I learned that the hard way. You're not going to be friends with everybody. Not everyone's going to have the same opinion as you. Not everyone is going to appreciate what you think is best. Not everyone's going to have the same opinion as you. It's just it's and that is preparing us for life. We're going to encounter people that we haven't that we don't agree with, that we don't have the same views as. It's important that we learn that from the get go. And high school is just beginning. So
Outstanding. That is a very, very balanced approach, and I tell young folks all the time when they go into new environments, we all survive it somehow and make the best of it. So, congratulations on your matriculation into high school. And so I understand that you've got an interest in kind of how our Constitution and our government work. In fact, I understand you wrote a letter to Congress. Is that correct?
that's what I did. Yes.
Tell me, how did it come about that you were going to write this letter? What was the driving force to say, you know what, I want you all to hear my thoughts?
Well, I think seeing the ousting of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker is definitely a catalyst to my wanting to write a letter to Congress. We see this in our government today. We see just this disrespect from people on the left and people on the right. And especially in Congress itself, we we have this environment that is being created of partisanship, of disrespect, and it's growing. Every single day you see it in the news. I mean, we have two female congresswomen uh, calling each other expletives on the House floor. This is this We can't accept this. I mean, certainly. And during Biden's State of the Union address this past year and the year previously, we have hecklers on the House floor in the joint Congress. I mean, this it's just terrible what we're seeing. This is not what we should expect from our public servants. And certainly, they're supposed to be for the people, not embarrassing themselves and us when they're doing their job.
You're absolutely correct about that, and that is a wonderful perspective. So you set out to write this letter to Congress, and you wanted Congress to know to be aware of what did you want them to to know, um, by from your letter. You wanted them to get what from the letter?
I wanted them to know that we are paying attention. I
Yes.
wanted them to know that we're watching them. We see what they're doing every single day. When they're supposed to be serving, we can see how they're acting. And I wanted them to know how embarrassed I am. And it's about time that someone let the people in Washington know that we're paying attention to them, and we are going to hold them accountable at the ballot box. And that's what we should continue to do, and that's what we should stand by. Voting is very important, and we should continue to exercise that right and show our public servants that they are not the ones in control of their jobs. We are.
As a lead in to your call, I was talking about what happened this week, where Marjorie Taylor Greene brought up the motion to vacate and remove Speaker Johnson, and there was a bipartisan effort to stabilize the ship to keep him in place. Is that more what you're looking to see? Both sides come together on common ground to make things happen.
And it shouldn't have had to be on the motion to vacate. Bipartisanship is so important and is an essential part of lawmaking, but a motion to vacate the Speaker of the House is not the only thing that should bring Republicans and Democrats together. We should be coming together on reforms for the American people. We should be coming together on actual issues that everyday Americans face. It's a shame that it had to come to this, but a start is a start. And seeing this, the Democrats saving Mike Johnson gives me hope.
You're right about that. Having a bipartisanship situation take place this week and there not be a major backlash. Why do you think Congress is so divided or partisan, and is that a representation of America at large in its division?
Well, we have political our political environment is changing every cycle, and there will be parts of our history where we will be more unified on issues, and there will be certain times in our history where we will be divided and people will be screaming civil war. So, it's important that we realize that there are certain politicians, especially those serving in Washington and people who don't serve in Washington anymore, who just want to see the chaos. They would prefer to shut down the government rather than actually, do things that the American people want. You can see this with the ousting of Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy worked with the Democrats. He got the budget passed. More Democrats voted on it than Republicans did, and the Republicans ousted him for it.
Yeah, but if that's if that's the case, why do you think there's such a desire for this dysfunction?
It's a tough question, and honestly, I believe that most politicians are motivated by power. They're motivated by clicks and views and social media. Social media has been the catalyst for all of this. It has been exacerbating their actions, and I think that is an essential part of why I had to write the letter.
So let's touch on that a little bit, because I think your generation, from my perspective, would be the generation of social media. I'm drifting in. I'm coming in my toe. I think I've got about my ankle into social media so far. I've got a Snapchat, Instagram. I'm learning to get my news off the internet from different locations. But you believe their connection to social media is having a negative impact on their ability to govern. Explain that a little bit.
Well, when you're a politician and you're on social media, everything you put on there is for the campaign, essentially.
Okay.
Everything you put on there is to get the publicity, to get voters' attention, to get a national audience. If you can get a national audience, that gives you all you need. All you need is a national audience, and you could run for president. And it's so easy to get that now. If you just say the right things and you say what people want to hear on social media and you get attention, that goes a long way.
That's a very good perspective. There's a component to the finance and economics of how our government now works, how campaigns now work, because the doors have been open for all kinds of people to donate to campaigns. Also, it's easier to get donations outside of your district or outside of the area in which uh, you serve, Quincy. Do you think the ability for me, and I'm just going to use Marjorie Taylor Greene, that when she comes on and does some of her antics, she can now get donations easily from anywhere in the country? Do you think that has a factor or impact on the behavior of some of our elected officials?
Well, yes and no, because having donations outside of your, congressional district or your state, that shouldn't be taken away. There are people who support campaigns all across the country, and they deserve to be heard, and they should be able to contribute to the candidate they believe should be serving in office. There's no issue with that. But when you use that as your only motivation to govern, when you use that national audience on social media to get that attention, to get those clicks and views, it it hurts us more than it helps us,
Absolutely.
and it
Yeah.
creates a toxic environment. So
Absolutely. For all those people wondering about the future of America, well, it's right here in front of you on our show today, young Quincy Collins. Quincy, we're going to take a quick break. Got to pay a few bills. We're going to come back and talk a little bit about how you might, as a future leader, impact our society. This is In Touch News Radio, reality radio Rise of the Star. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Tell a friend to listen in. It's In Touch Radio, reality radio.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for ya. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown 184-361 Rick. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361 Rick. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361 Rick. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Been in a car crash? Call Ricky. Don't know what to do? Ask Ricky. We will connect you with a lawyer and doctor experienced in auto accident injuries. Call Ricky at 844-361-7425. After an auto accident, you have 14 days to seek medical attention. You may be in pain, so call Ricky, ask Ricky for your best options. 844-361-7425. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal and medical referral service. The lawyers in our network pay to receive referrals.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here-for-you.
Radio, reality radio, everybody can be a star. This is your co-host, Clint Paris, live in studio, and I have on the telephone with me Quincy Collins Jr., a freshman, high school student, spewing knowledge and wisdom like he's a revered Wiley-O veteran. Hey, Quincy, you mentioned earlier, we talked a little bit about you got somewhat of a golf game Tell us a little bit about what are you shooting these days? What you single digit, double digit? What are you shooting these days?
Well, I have a 2.4 handicap, and I
Okay,
do play competitively, so I put in a lot of work into my game, so I take it quite seriously.
I say so. So let me tell you a little bit about straight up the middle. We're a station of validation. So let's validate that score that you have there. What kind of clubs are you swinging? What are you hitting? What do you use?
I have Callaway irons, I have Ping driver, and Callaway wedges. I
Okay,
use
okay, got it
I've
right.
used those clubs, and they've been very good to me. I tell you, very
So,
good.
now, why are you swinging? Why would you go with Ping versus the Callaway or Titleist? Even some of this the faddish stuff that TaylorMade puts out. Why would you be hitting Ping?
Well, when I went to go try out the clubs, to get fit for them, I just picked the ones that had the best feel, and
Uh-huh.
that's what I've been using ever since because it just feels the best. That's how us golfers feel. That's what we do. We have a fitting process we go through, and it's very important that we choose the right club, to get us in that Goldilocks zone.
There you
So,
go. Well, you have been validated as an exceptional golfer. I appreciate the confirmation there. Clearly you know your way around the golf course, and of course you know your club. So let's get back to talking about our government. So Quincy, our government is laid over our Constitution. Um, w- is your my interpretation is most people don't really know much about the Constitution. Is that your experience, or do you see things that way? And is that a gateway to why sometimes people can be easily misled?
I see it within my high school.
Wow.
There are so many people with opinions on our government and what our government does when they can't tell you what the Bill of Rights are. They can't tell you what separations of powers are. It's 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 sad to see that in a few years these people are going to be voting. These students are going to be voting, and they don't know, you know, who Donald Trump is and what his policies are. They don't know who Joe Biden is and what his policies are. They know the names, but they don't know what they stand for. They don't know, you know, what they would do if they were elected. All they know is, you know, Donald Trump is this, Joe Biden is that. It's all because of media, what they consume from social media.
Now,
That's what we can see. So
what would you think then would be a way that we could address that? How could we elevate the average person's knowledge uh, about our Constitution and how our government works? Because what you're saying about high school students, you're correct. They become adults and they know very little about the actual how it works and how it impacts them. What are some thoughts? Would you think they should expand course options in high school for students?
it goes beyond the school. You know, there are students who take classes who may be learning about it, and they may, pass the class. They may, get A's in their exams, right? But does that mean that knowledge is going to carry over after they finish with the course? I don't think so. Me personally, I believe that more students should be reading balanced news sources. Instead of watching cable news like Fox, CNN, NBC, we should be trying to read balanced sources like the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. Those trusted news sources that have good journalistic ethics and morals that they put their journalists by. It's very important that we continue that because the news is becoming more and more polarized, especially on cable. Right now, we should be trusting in what balanced news sources are out there. And that's how you get the knowledge to students. That's how you get the knowledge to America. Instead of putting partisan garbage down everybody's throat, you should be willing to seek knowledge that is actually objective and not biased.
Absolutely correct. So for now, Quincy, you have the privilege of being a commentator, of being a fan in the stands. You're watching the game. You're commenting on the play. It's kind of like watching the Masters and saying, well, should this player hit a wedge or should they do something else more creative? Is this a hole you go with a driver, or do I take my 3-wood out on this one or use my driving iron? Do I flight it down lower? Do I go high and spin it back? That's your privilege right now. But in a couple of years, you're going to be on the field. You're going to be a voter. You're going to be someone that other people turn to, because clearly from listening to you, you're a thoughtful person and you're going to have respect, and people are going to look to you and say, well, Quincy, what do you think about A, B, C, D, E, or F? That's for you. You'll be how do you anticipate playing a key role of helping to address some of the issues you're now watching and saying, when I get behind the wheel, this is how I think I'll try and address these problems? What kind of ideas do you have about what you're going to do when you get the chance as an adult to actually come on the field and be a part of the political process?
Well, very first, I would have objective opinions.
Okay.
I would never allow for another political pundit or commentator to make my opinions for me. And I think that's what a lot of Americans now, that's what their mistake is. And you can see this on both sides of the aisle. There are individuals with extreme opinions that are essentially brainwashing folks.
Okay.
And they're making their opinions, formulating them, and then they push that on their audience, and then their audience believes it. That's not what commentary should be. And I think that is what has added to the partisanship in our country. That is what has added to so many violent protests and riots over political issues. You can see that in the college campuses. You can see this over Palestine versus Israel. It's a deep divide in the media. The media is everything. So,
when I was in college, the big protest issue was free Nelson Mandela. That's what we were hanging out and marching around, going in circles, yelling and screaming about it. At the time, looking back on it now, it was quite a coming of age. And so I would like to ask you, though, on a personal note, about your career aspirations. You clearly have a lot of talent and ability. What are some of your career aspirations academically and professionally?
Well, after high school, I want to go to college and study law and get my Juris Doctorate, and possibly go into the Navy or Marines to serve as a lawyer, a judge advocate general.
Okay.
And then after that, I would consider running for office, because we have a country to save, and it's clear and prevalent that so many haven't been upholding their oath to protect and serve the people and protect and serve the Constitution. We can see this, and it's sad that this has to happen, and I want to be a part of that change. So, it's due time, and I think it's appropriate that we continue to do it.
Well, it's clear to me you're well on your way to success, whatever direction you go. As a lawyer myself, I would love to have you join the ranks of the lawyers around this country and provide and serve, of course, also on the military front, to be a servant to our country. I want to thank you very much for coming on with us this morning, for sharing your thoughts. Anything you want to say before we let you go?
I just want to say one thing, and that is, please, please, please vote this election. It is so imperative that you do that. If you do not go and vote this election, you are throwing away the one thing that can put these politicians in check.
Got it. Outstanding.
I
And
hear
by the way,
too many times. Yes.
yeah, since I got you on the air, and I apologize, I got to get to my break. Want to give you a chance to give your mom a Mother's Day shout out if you'd like to do it. I mean, the Mother's Day is tomorrow. People are all over the world are listening to you. Is there anything you'd like to say for your Mother's Day celebration?
Yes, I love my mom very much. Very grateful for all the things she's done for me, and I hope this Mother Day is very, very, very special for her. My grandmas as well, both of them. Happy Mother's Day, all of my aunts, everybody who's been such a good mother to their children. I really appreciate them.
Outstanding. Well, thank you very much, Quincy, for coming on. Thank your dad for working with me to get this set up. Look forward to hearing about your future success. And, hey, keep my number handy. Anytime you feel like giving this show a call on a Saturday morning, we're live every Saturday at 10 o'clock. You have an open invitation to come back on and talk about whatever's on your mind. Deal?
Deal.
All right, take care. Thank y'all. All right, that was Quincy Collins Jr., aspirational golfer, future lawyer, most important, impactor of tomorrow. We will be hearing that name. Let me lock it in one more time, y'all. Quincy Collins Jr. That kid's only 15 years old. He may be one of the best callers we ever had. All right, listen, I got to take this break. Come back on the other side. If you want to call in and talk to us, feel free to do so. 813-444-9588. In Touch News Radio. We'll be right back after this quick
Hey,
break.
this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Don't forget to pick up your copy of In Touch News.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web. In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
Back live on Intex News Radio, reality radio, everybody can be a star. So we just finished interviewing a young man, Quincy Collins Jr. out of Texas. Just getting a youthful perspective, and his perspective is more mature than most of the adults I know. So very, very, very well thought out young man. I'm sure that's why he's, 245 handicap golfer. He's very, very sharp. Young man, and aware of the politics and the stuff that we're dealing with. Just good. I feel good about it. When I talk to young people like him, I feel good about America. I feel good about tomorrow. I feel good about what's coming behind us and all that we sometimes want to revel in, what's wrong with our young people. Well, you just heard really what's right with our young folks. And it makes me feel good to know that he's representative of a great generation that will be coming of age very soon, as we move into as he goes off to college and matures. It's just interesting because he's gonna have to at one point in time take those thoughts, take those perspectives, and apply them to the issues in front of us. And you watch that sometimes look rough. Like I'm watching these protests at various college campuses during graduation about the war in Palestine. I would invite anyone who wonders about what is happening with these young people to go back and review some video of the protests related to the Vietnam War. Go back and look at those. Oftentimes in America, the start of change comes from young people, people with a lot less to lose because they've yet to have as much. Young people, they're thinking about the future, and really they're writing their own script as to what they're going to have to deal with. Because I've been watching these protests, and I think they're valid grounds on both. I won't say like Donald Trump, they're good people on both sides. No one who is of any ethnic group, and I'm African American, if anybody has any doubts about it, I'm as black as it gets in America. I understand and know what it feels to feel uncomfortable, to feel unwelcome, to have to overcome fears, things that you don't think would be really an issue. I know what it feels like to be isolated and ostracized, and I don't want anyone else of any other culture, religion, or whatever you may be, whatever characteristic it might be. I don't want any of that to ever be a limitation on what you're able to go and do. And so when someone says Jewish students on a campus don't feel safe going to class, well, that's a problem. That's a big problem because they should not, no matter what is happening, feel unsafe on a college campus. The other issue, of course, is the right to protest, the right to object to what your government is doing with taxpayers' money, the right to have your voice heard by those that represent you in the power levels of government. So those people that oppose what's happening in America's role in Palestine have a right to be heard. Now, that doesn't mean you take over a building, you don't get to set fires, you don't get to disrupt the normal course of what others are trying to do. Your rights do not extend to the infringement on other people. But you have a right to be there. And so I'm bothered by protesters interfering with or threatening the Jewish population, the Jewish people. I'm likewise bothered by those cheering the police suppression of the protest. There's got to be middle ground, and peaceful, lawful protests should always be allowed. This mechanism, though, of the protest and raising the issue to the forefront, though, has been the American way of change. I tell people all the time, have you ever wondered why in school, in history, you're taught about revolutionary terrorists? Let me tell you the story about those revolutionary terrorists. They were upset over the increase by the king on the tax on tea. And so when a ship came in and docked, they dressed up like Indians. This is in my history books. I didn't make this up. I was taught this repeatedly in history. They then went out, broke into the ship. They broke into the ship, threw the tea into the water, and ran off proclaiming themselves as being Native American Indians. They're the ones doing this. It's called the Boston Tea Party. It's an act of terrorism. But it impacted the direction of the history of America. So when we look at these protests on these campuses, you need to understand and know that in history, these kind of events have had the impact of redirecting where our country goes. All right, we got a caller on the phone. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning. It's Carl the trucker calling in. I missed the last 2 weekends because the show host was out gallivanting doing this thing. So I want to chime in today.
Gallivanting out about. You know, every now and again I get loose myself. But good morning. What's on your mind this morning, Carl? I mean, did you get to hear that young man that we interviewed, Quincy Collins Jr.? Did you hear his interview?
Yes, I did. And that's very interesting. That's very interesting because he's not of age to vote, but he's still, knowledgeable of our democratic system, and that's very. And that's very hopeful.
It is very hopeful and commendable to his parents. Clearly, he is in an enlightened experience as he's being developed. You know, clearly his parents are getting him in a space where he can be exposed to, positive, impactful things. But what's on your mind? I mean, is it stormy? Is it what's happening with the trial in Atlanta, which is nothing? Is it Gaza? Is it Biden keeps circling? He keeps going around. What is it? Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. He keeps going around the circle up there. He's not going to make the hill. Well, what is on your mind this morning, Carl?
Okay, first I just want to commend the guy. I mean, Mr. Collins and his parents, giving him the knowledge of our system, and that's what we're facing now. You know, like we do have a lot of propaganda from other countries that want to destroy our democracy, and that put little tidbits in there that change the mindset of a lot of voters. So if you don't have the right knowledge and you're vetting the person of interest that you want to vote for, that kind of like this, give you that uncertain or the unsure about who to vote for.
Right.
So the proper vetting system. I'm not swinging on Mr. Joe Biden's coattail, but this is the most empathetic president we ever had, because with this war with Israel, he's doing a lot of inhumane things. I mean, the damage is already done. He made his point. Why would you want to go into a city and just, cause some more death? And that's what that is.
One of the things I think, Carl, we don't appreciate are the politics of Israel. See, Benjamin Netanyahu is being prosecuted kind of like Donald Trump is. He's under various indictments in his own country right now that have to go to trial. And theoretically is that while we are at war, and Israel is so mad about what happened, he'll have more support if he keeps persecuting the Palestinians. It's less likely that he gets prosecuted or taken to trial or suffers the consequence or whatever it is they think he may have done, some corrupt stuff. But I think that's an element of what is transpiring with his desire to continue. History is really telling. I want to say Carter, Bush, Reagan, Clinton, they all put stipulations on what Israel could do with the weapons. Now let's play this out. Let's try this out. Your buddy says to you, hey, listen, some folks over this way have done me wrong. Let me borrow your gun. I'm going to go straighten it out. Right? And if the person goes and uses your weapon, you have some culpability in what they did. You have some responsibility in what they did. That's really what Joe Biden is really saying. Hey, listen, I'm not saying you can't go in there. I'm just saying don't use our stuff when you go in there. Because there are kids in there. People say, well, the Palestinians voted in the who are those people? Whoever the terrorist group is of Hamas
Hamas.
Hamas. They voted him in. Well, you've got kids over there who weren't even born when Hamas came to power who are being killed. They didn't play a role in that. And I know somewhere in somebody's mind, you don't create safety by making more enemies. You don't create safety by making more enemies. All right, Carl, I gotta let you go. You got one more thought. What's on your mind? I gotta let you go.
And I think with this trial with Trump, I just wanted everything to come out about this guy to really see who he really is, and I'm just enjoying all the knowledge that everybody that I'm getting from. So it just points to he's not a president.
Yeah,
he's not going to. I want for president.
Gotcha. Hear you. All right. Thank you very much, Carl. Appreciate you calling in. And more than that, appreciate you listening. We're going to take this quick break. We'll be back on the other side. All right. Hang in there, everybody. We'll be back after this quick break.
Been in a car crash? Call Ricky. Don't know what to do? Ask Ricky. We will connect you with a lawyer and doctor experienced in auto accident injuries. Call Ricky at 844-361-7425. After an auto accident, you have 14 days to seek medical attention. You may be in pain, so call Ricky, ask Ricky for your best options. 844-361-7425. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal and medical referral service. The lawyers in our network pay to receive referrals.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the law office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
All right, we're back live on Texas News Radio, reality radio where everybody could be a star. Man, we get on this station at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I tell you, this hour just flies by. We're already on the back end of this and looking to wrap things up. We started the show with a very robust discussion with young man Quincy Collins Jr. and some other discussion about some issues. We do have a few minutes. If you want to call in, the number is 813-444-9588. I had just gotten into talking with Carl about my perspective on the issue with Gaza and the Israel and Hamas. It is tough to find safety and security in creating more enemies. What do I mean by that? Those young people right now in Israel and in Gaza who have been suffering will grow up to hate Israel. They will. And I have this theory that if you don't give people something to live for, they will find something to die for. Willingly. It's easy, much easier than you think if you don't give people something to live for. So if you become so oppressive to people, in this case, Israel to Palestinians, you cannot find safety in that. And I am thankful that Joe Biden is putting some reason to that. And I know we want to vilify everybody on the other side of everything is the enemy. And young Quincy was bringing forth saying there needs to be some objectivity. There are very few situations that if you sat down and you listened to what others had to say, not with the intent of refuting it, not with the intent of just counter their point, but listening to what they have to say, it's much easier to find middle ground. And here's something that I found about middle ground, Bezel. Nobody's happy. If you're truly in middle ground, neither side is happy, but each side can be content. And we've got this misconception that unless I'm happy, well, that's all that matters. In reality, it's very difficult for one side to be happy and the other side to be happy as well. What you will find is the ability to be content. And if you think back to some of the conflicts with Israel between other nations, each side found a way to be content with an arrangement, and that has led to some stability, which is what we need in that situation. I know it doesn't affect each American individually, but as a part of the humanity of the world, we should be concerned about those people and oppressed people anywhere. The last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up the show is what is happening with the American political process and this trial with Donald Trump. The best I can say is it is just a sad day in America when we have to sit and watch it. I mean, the decent thing, to save the embarrassment of the country is sometimes most important. The stability and progress of America is also a key factor. But this person, I just don't know of a redeeming quality the man has. I just don't. I mean, I'm sitting there watching, and let's assume that all that Stormy Daniels says happened did not happen. But I'm pretty comfortable to say something happened. She may not have hit him on the butt with the newspaper. There may have been something under the pajamas. But I don't know. But the mere fact that we're talking about it is too much. That's part of our presidential election because he has no redeeming qualities. The man has no floor. There is no depth he will not go below. No matter how low things get, he finds a way to go lower. And for those people that are willing to accept that as their leader, the benchmark, for those people raising young people like young Quincy, saying, yeah, I want my child to grow up and be just like Donald Trump. I don't think a lot of them think that's the kind of person, that's the kind of, person I want my kid to grow up to be. That to me is detestable in and of itself. So we got this trial going on. Now we've had the point. Now we're going to have his ex-lawyer who's been convicted of a felony related to some of the things he did for Donald Trump. I've never, ever, I've been a lawyer over 25 years. I've never recorded a client. I've never felt the need to even own recording equipment, much less turn it on and not tell somebody you're recording them. That is the kind of client Donald Trump was. And most lawyers can't fathom the idea that I would need to record a client for my own protection. That to me is unprecedented. But next week we'll be hearing from his ex-lawyer getting on the stand to talk about business records that were created to cover up Donald Trump's payment to Stormy Daniels because he didn't want the story to come out. Now, once he gets up and tries to explain this, put this into context. Think about Donald Trump, the businessman. Think about Donald Trump, the businessman. Very few people would say, well, he's honest. They may say he's a shrewd deal maker, and they may say a bunch of other things. He's a savvy business person and all that. But you wouldn't use the word honest. That would be disingenuous. His chief financial officer has already been prosecuted for having shady business records. He's already been prosecuted for inflating the value of his properties and things of that nature, and has to pay gobs of fines. Hundreds of millions of dollars in fines that have been levied against him as a result of that. There's no way you come away from all this and say he should be the standard bearer for what America is about. That, to me, is immensely disappointing. It is immensely disappointing. You know, I was watching a TikTok, you know, trying to work on my social media, Bezel. I'm trying to work on it. So, you know, when I'm in certain locations where you have to sit for a while, I will turn my TikTok on and then go through a little bit, lighten the mood.
They're funny, though.
To set the atmosphere. And there was on there where a pregnant lady storms in church. You know, churches have some funny stuff going on. The pregnant lady storms in church, you know, and professes, the pastor got me pregnant. Pastor got me pregnant, right? You know, the deaconesses and choir members and all the leaders of the church lambasted the lady. How dare you attack our pastor? How dare you put this out in public? And they ran the lady out of church. And I sat there thinking to myself, the lady's not the problem. The pastor's the problem. And the pastor doing and living in a way consistent with what the Bible says you do. But I was just looking at that. They wanted that pastor so bad that they were willing to completely disregard that. And I think that's what some people have done with Donald Trump. They have disregarded who truly and what he truly is because they think he will aggrieve some of the issues that have been bothering them. I don't know. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but I know this. If Donald Trump wins another election, it's going to be a long time before America gets back on the right track. And that's something that we should all be worried about. Joe Biden is not the end-all, be-all of presidential candidates. But I know one thing. He's not Donald Trump. Listen, everybody, summer is kicked off. Mother's Day is tomorrow. Get out, do something. Treat your mothers right. I'm going to give you a little cue in now. Listen, I've tried to go to brunch and lunch and all the other stuff you CMEs do on Sunday. Anybody don't know who a CME is? Well, you know what CMEs are, don't you? Okay, I'm going to do a little education. I was about to go, but I get
Educate me, please, before you go.
Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter church attendees. They're CMEs.
CMEs, okay.
There's going to be a bunch of y'all come Sunday at church, and you're going to leave their head for the buffet, right? Now, the heathens will get there in front of you. You all are going to pile on top, and you've under-reserved, and there won't be enough seats. Y'all might want to think about celebrating your Mother's Day on Saturday, and then you can relax on Sunday. Be thoughtful about that. All right, everybody have a great day. Be safe. Enjoy that outside weather. Celebrate your mothers while you have the opportunity to. And hopefully I'll see you back here again next week. All right, take care.
It's not chipped when I crack.